Okay, so let's see here. There we go. Okay, so we got that. I'm good. I'm good there. Perfect. Okay. That thing is. Alright, so now I just want to make sure that we get. Now we have to get. Okay, so we have that. We're good to go there. Okay, so there we go. How are you, Brett?
Hey, one sec. Oh, where's my camera?
Let me change. There we go. Perfect. So I have the layout like that. I have that.
Can you see me or no?
I can't. I cannot.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me log out back in.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So we got that. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got it. All right, so I got so it is actually live now. I sent you the chess link to your Twitter DMs.
Got it.
I'm gonna send out a tweet right now as well that we are live. We're just making sure everything was good. So I got that. That's good. We're good there. And yeah, we're ready to go. I guess whenever, I think as soon as you enter the chess game, I think it starts. Yeah, there we go. I think it's.
Man.
Yeah, here we go. I'm actually 0 for 11 in playing this. So this is.
Well, tonight you're getting your W. I promise you that.
Let's hope so, right? Let's hope so. So, actually, let's do a quick intro as well. And so, this is, I guess, welcome anyone that's in here. I can't necessarily see because I got too many things going on here, but welcome anyone that is in here. This is the first episode of Chess and Chat with myself, and obviously our first guest is Brett Harrison of FTX US, president over there. And I think it's an incredibly interesting idea. I've tested it out in the past. This is the first live. And I have some questions here. We're just going to be playing some casual chess while chatting. So I appreciate Brett coming on. And
Yeah, for sure.
so yeah, let's see. I think it's my move first. I guess I'll go here. But I guess, Brett, let's start with a simple question. Let's start with a simple question. What do you think of the state of crypto right now? Incredibly, it's a simple question. No. It's wide
Wow,
open, of
yeah.
course.
Where to begin? Okay. Well, first of all, watching the crypto space, being like a software engineer who has been, a couple other places in the financial world, having friends in the tech space who have done things like moved out to San Francisco, begging and pleading to get funding for some, idea. It's like Twitter, but for dogs, and like it's very difficult to get funding for that.
Yep.
The amount of money pouring into crypto from venture capital and other form of investment is just astronomical.
Yep.
So I think when people think about, oh, is crypto going to survive? Is it going to last? I think we're now officially beyond that. We're here at the end of 2021. I think we're officially beyond that because it's self-perpetuating. It sort of has to succeed given how much investment there is. And you see how much intellectual capital is moving into crypto. You just saw some article today where Google is having weekly meetings to figure out how to convince their staff not to leave for crypto companies, for Web3.
Yeah.
So I think that pretty much sums up where crypto is now, in that it is grabbing all the talent, all the capital, all the intellectual energy, and all the excitement around what the next stage is of software development. I think it's super exciting.
Absolutely. Now, so what is actually, I did an incredibly kind of bad move there. So what is actually your take on, I know over the past couple of days, there's been almost like a Twitter war back and forth between, you kind of had Jack Dorsey, you had Elon Musk, all kind of going at A16Z and basically VCs in general. Any kind of thoughts on that?
So I think that there's always something that happens in any new movement where it starts out its niche, and the people who are there are those early visionaries, those intellectual leaders, the ones who sort of believe in the future of something, see the future in it.
Yeah.
And then people come into it, and it's a mix of the good and the bad. I think on one hand, it can start to water down what is the real meaning of what we're trying to do. And so when you have people say like, okay, people wake up and start talking about Web3 and the NFTs they're buying, but they might not necessarily be super actually personally invested in the space. It makes the kind of the old guard inside of crypto a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
At the same time, these are the people who are helping push crypto. Like, pushing crypto to mainstream is not a bad thing. It's the thing that people want and don't want at the same time. It's the goal of when you hear people talk about like we should get 1 billion users on DeFi. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, to start, we have to get the A16Zs of the world to help spread this around. You need the Jack Dorseys of the world to leave Twitter to go do this particular thing. You need Elon Musk to talk about it all the time, and you need the people on the ground to build. And you need all of this together, and we should be a little bit more accepting as a community.
Of course. No, I would agree here. Let's see. I guess we're already had a quick loss in this interesting chess game. A quick pawn loss, but let's see here. I'm gonna make this move here. So, actually, maybe we'll do something a little. This will be maybe something that's more of the next episodes as well. Maybe your first intro to chess, when the first time you played, or something like that. Maybe the last time you played. Are you a great rank? What the story behind that?
Oh gosh, my first chess game, probably at my grandfather's house in Philadelphia when I was 6.
Gotcha.
But my last chess game probably was when I was at Jane Street. Um, at Jane Street, there was a huge chess culture.
Right.
And usually that revolved around Bug House. Do you know what Bug House is?
No.
Bug House is this awesome variant on chess where it's 2-on-2, played with 2 boards.
Right.
And when you get a piece, you can give it to your partner. And your partner can drop it on their board.
Right.
So you can capture the queen from your current opponent and then give it to your partner, and he could have 2 queens on the board on his side.
Interesting.
And it's extremely fast paced. And so every day after work at Jane Street, around like 5, 6, 7 p.m., people would just sort of like pile into the rec room to start playing Bug House. That was probably the last time I played.
That actually sounds really fun. No, I mean, just for myself as well, I think my dad taught me really when I was a kid, probably around the same age, 6 or something like that. And then I think I really didn't play until something like just this past year with the whole pandemic and more time spent at home and all that kind of stuff. So I think, I mean, it is an incredibly fun game, and I also see it as like almost a reset. I'm sure as you are and many of your colleagues, and you're working 80 to 100 hours a week, and you need those resets, right? It's
I agree. I don't think in the 24/7 nature of crypto, I don't think we take enough mental breaks.
Absolutely.
To do something.
Absolutely. So it looks like we have we got a couple people saying where I should move, or maybe even they're talking about you, but we do actually have a couple people in here, so that's actually cool to see. That's actually really cool. So let's see. Next question here. I know you guys in this past year released your NFT platform. What are your thoughts on NFTs? Do you have any favorites? Any that you really like? Your general thoughts on NFTs.
Sure. So I'm also super new to the NFT space, and helping build out the platform for FTX was one of my first real forays into NFTs.
Yep.
And I have to say I'm pretty hooked. And I don't mean that in terms of like particularly building out some large collection myself, but just seeing how awesome it is for a number of reasons. One, the technology itself, I think, will be the next killer app for crypto in general. It's already there to some extent, but not yet. Yeah. I think a lot of this is around digital collectibles and art, but when we start thinking about tickets and proof of ownership for things like property and membership into real life events and clubs, which I guess is like tickets, the backing of next generation games, online games, I think that to me is super exciting. And that's something I feel like I can see now, having jumped into it from the marketplace side. I'm excited about people who are building games using NFTs. I think that's all the really cool stuff. And it's what's super weird and backwards about it, but also in some sense revolutionary in the field of gaming, is that people are first building the characters and the lore and getting people hyped for a future release of a game that doesn't even exist yet, that's going to use the things people bought.
Yeah.
Like, that is really cool. I mean, just imagine being a kid and saying, okay, here's like a card for, Sub-Zero and Raiden from Mortal Kombat, and we're going to release a game in a year, and if you own that card, you're going to be able to play as them. I think that would have been super cool to us then, and the fact that we can do that now digitally is pretty exciting.
It's actually really interesting too how there was this. Oh shoot! I'm in a not so great position here. It's actually really interesting because when I was a kid, not too long ago, really, there was this game called actually Virtual Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
And it was from Disney, and they actually had something very similar
I'm a huge
to.
Disney fan, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Disney fan. I obviously used to live actually by Disneyland, but
nice.
But ultimately the game, right, was only around I think for 4 to 5 years. But you could play this game, you could earn collectibles, etc. But you could also go into the park, and you could also earn collectibles or other items by doing or completing certain tasks. It obviously wasn't NFT based, but you could say that if they bring something back like that in the near future, would be incredibly interesting. I know there's arguably like yourself, people that love Disney,
Yeah.
and would go crazy over that.
Yeah.
There we go. Sacrificed. All right, let's see if anyone. Let's see if anyone's. We got a couple people in the chat here. Uh, we got Big Chad getting wrecked. Uh, you did great with the platform. Let's see. Love this. A lot of people really like this. Smash the
Great.
like button. Okay. So we got a question here,
Sure.
and we'll go to this. How do you think governments will tax crypto as more coins and ways to earn become prevalent? Interesting.
Mm. Yeah, super, super good question. Um, so let's break this up a little bit into cryptocurrencies that are traded like investments, where they're traded like fiat currencies, or bonds or stocks. And let's think about other kinds of crypto-related assets like NFTs, because I think those will be different. They sort of are already different. So the first is, I think those are going to be taxed like normal instruments for capital gains and income in the U.S. at least. I don't know that much about taxes outside of the U.S.
International, yeah.
I don't know much about taxes inside the U.S. either, but what I do know I can say is I think it's going to be treated as much as possible, like stocks. It's not going to be treated like owning euros.
Yeah.
Now, for things like yield, for example, like you stake some coin, you receive yield, I think that's going to be taxed like income. For things like NFTs, it's going to really depend on what that NFT is, because remember, at the end of the day, NFT is just a token with supply 1 as opposed to supply 100 million.
Yeah.
Or 21 million or whatever it is. And I think that if it's truly something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, it'll be taxed like a collectible, which has a different tax rate than an investment in something like a stock.
Right.
But if the NFT itself is really sort of an investment contract, then it will be treated as such. Now, there's a different question here, which is, how is the government going to be able to track down all the things that should be taxable like income? And I think that was the big subject of the debate over the infrastructure bill in the U.S. was, on whose responsibility should it be to ensure that people who are earning income through crypto are properly reporting it or double reporting it, so that the IRS knows and can tell who is properly reporting their taxes.
Right.
Now, for someone like us, where we're an exchange, and we KYC all of our people, we sort of know we have to collect social security numbers for tax reasons. We know who's doing the trading with whom. We know what everyone's sort of income is through the platform. It's obvious that we should have that responsibility. But if you're Solana Labs, how could that possibly be their responsibility if people are deploying arbitrarily smart contracts on the protocol? And that's, I think, the tricky thing that we don't really have an answer to.
Right. And you also had, I think it was earlier in this year, you had SBF, of course, Sam Bankman. He had a thread, I think, on this as well, that the really tricky part of you as a company with FTX, how you're able to really track this sort of stuff, right? Because if someone's really buying it on Coinbase for X dollar amount, and then transferring it to FTX and selling it for X dollar amount, right? It's completely lost in what your cost basis is. All that sort of stuff is entirely lost.
We're actually we partnered with a company called TaxBit, and they're one of a couple of solutions out there that do this. And what TaxBit lets you do is you can sign up for an account, and you can actually link up all of your different crypto accounts. So if you trade on Coinbase and FTX US and Gemini,
yep,
you can put in your accounts, and it will track transfers in addition to where things started, and you can actually try to detect cost basis, and they give you different ways of doing it. You do first in, first out, first in, last out for determining cost basis. So there are some tools now that are trying to help people figure this out, because it's not easy.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see, we got FTX should sponsor this show. some funny chat. All right, let's do one more. This might be an interesting question. So, why are this person's asking? It's ganked. Why are Bitcoin maxis so rigid in their ideology, or is that only certain spaces? I don't have much exposure. Curious your experience. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is mostly just from observing on the wonderful world of crypto Twitter. Um, and I don't know, it's probably partly that there are people who hold a lot of Bitcoin and they really want it to go up. And they think that it will be self-perpetuating. Like if more people buy Bitcoin, then Bitcoin will just go up. Part of it is every movement, and I think crypto is a movement. It's not just a technology. It's an ideology. It's a way of thinking about technology. It's a way about thinking about the structure of finance and organizations and governments. In every movement, there are ideologues. There are people who are very dogmatic about the purest way of being X, Y, or Z. You know, there's a bit of a tangent, but like I'm vegan, and something that bothers me online in sort of like vegan circles on Reddit and stuff is people say like, oh wait, you own a dog, like then you're not a vegan. And it's like, really, like what who is really benefiting from that kind of ideology? Like, you know, I personally think like the planet would be a lot better if people like ate a lot less meat. I would be happy if people like didn't do it 3 days a week. But the idea that like it has to be this one specific puritanical way or else it doesn't work, I think is sort of short-sighted.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing about Bitcoin maxis or ETH maxis or any one of these, like sort of, there's only one way to do the right things. Like even in like our NFT platform, like I think that, you know, Solana is a like much lower cost, much better for the environment, much better for the future applications blockchain than Ethereum. Doesn't mean I'm going to like ignore the fact that most NFTs trade on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So we'll support both. Like, there's no reason to be religious about it.
Of course. And ultimately, I mean, is it also, maybe in your opinion, is it really not a winner takes all? There can be multiple really winners in the space, multiple layer ones. Is that kind of your take on that sort of stuff? Now we're getting to the mid game, a little bit more serious.
That's a very intentional.
I know.
I was like, hold on, is this black piece the queen or the king?
I know. Let's see. No, but yeah, I guess.
Right, what was you asked a question? I think I missed it when I was like.
No, it's okay. I mean, ultimately, is it maybe in your opinion, is it really not a winner takes all? Is it that there could be multiple layer ones?
Yes.
Is that really kind of where you're going with that?
100%. There will be multiple layer ones. I think that's just like clearly the way we are heading.
Yeah.
There will be multiple exchanges. There will be multiple layer twos. Will there be as many blockchains as there are now? I don't think so. I don't think like we need 17 different slight variations on proof of stake.
Yeah.
I don't think we need. Do you know how many places are technically crypto exchanges, like where you can buy and trade Bitcoin?
Probably 50 to 100 plus.
It's something like 10,000.
Oh my gosh.
It's something like 10,000. You probably don't need all of those.
Yeah.
I think probably, reasonable regulation in not just the U.S., but like in the EU, UK, and Japan and Singapore and whatever. All these places will wipe out a fair amount of these over time, as will just general consolidation. But there definitely will be multiple layer ones. I really do believe that.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. We're really getting down to the crucial parts here. Let's see here. We're kind of consistently at I think five or so viewers here, 5 or so live viewers. First ever stream, that's pretty good. I don't think we have any really subs on this channel, but something to obviously have a little fun with. Let's see, any snippets or any little Easter eggs you can give away about what you can what we can expect for FTX marketing in the next year.
FTX marketing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Any new sports? Are you guys getting into rugby now or no?
We're actually already in rugby.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we're already in rugby. But let's see. We're doing I think we're doing decently well in sports. We have a lot of, whether it's actual properties or talent. We do have a couple more in the works that we're pretty excited about, getting into a few sports where we don't currently have representation. Looking a little bit more into entertainment. This leaked, and I can't say more about the actual detail about it, but we do have a Super Bowl ad coming out, which is
Yep.
pretty cool. Excited about that.
That'll be sweet.
But I think in general, we just need to do more traditional marketing as well. Just the hard grinding work of getting our app to the top of the App Store. And making sure when people type in FTX into Google, the first thing that doesn't come up is Coinbase.
Yep.
This is another big part of the marketing push that we have to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's see here.
Can you just move the node?
Yeah, we moved that. There's a couple people in the chat that I think are giving us both tips on where to move.
Well, only you can see them. So
I know.
That's,
I could.
That's me a disadvantage.
I know, seriously, huh? I can send you the chat if you'd like it.
Oh, that's okay.
It is, but oh, that's funny. So obviously there's been. I know we talked a little bit about this with really Jack and kind of Elon going back and forth on the whole VC. Is there any and this is something that I've really struggled to think about is do you have maybe a subjective or more clear definition, maybe more objectively, on what you define as really Web3? I know it's really just been all over the place lately, but I'm really struggling to see if there's any really an objective definition, because it's just, people say it's the metaverse, people say it's NFTs, and it's like usually they're coming from the place that they're saying that it is. So it's difficult. And I don't think we have anything yet on what it really is.
I actually think that Brian Brooks, during the congressional hearing, gave one of the best, most succinct explanations to the committee on what Web3 was.
Right.
So I will attempt to nice. There you go. My poor rook.
I know, huh? This is it's getting good. It's getting good. Let's see here. All right, so we have some people in the chat that are trying to help, as well as telling us that we're doing some terrible moves here. So so we're having
I told you I was going to give you your first W tonight.
I know. We will see. I'll be 1 for 11. It's something I'll be able to pitch a little bit better to some of the other guests that come on hopefully in the future. But yeah, I guess back to the question on really what you thought about.
Web3. Okay, yeah. So let me see if I can attempt to recreate it. So Web 1, the first version of the internet, was websites completely owned and hosted on some companies' servers, internal servers, and the way you access them was through basically DNS pointing you at a particular company's IP address of their own servers, and if that company went down, the thing was gone.
Right.
You're very much at the mercy of the individual companies that sort of own these particular internet network properties. That Web 2 turns into the cloud, what we would think of now as the public cloud, where it's no longer individual companies that are each kind of in completely separate and independent ways owning particular parts of the web. It is a gigantic, amorphous, distributed cloud where it's breaking up the internet into lots of small pieces and making them somewhat interchangeable, interoperable, robust. But they're basically owned by 4 or 5 major companies. And so they're internet companies that have basically taken over this. So you take Amazon, Google, Oracle, a couple of these big ones. Web 3 is where this internet is fully distributed and decentralized, and participants can be incentivized and can profit from the growth of the network. they can actually invest in the network themselves
Mm-hmm.
via tokens. So I think that, to me, is what defines Web3, is you're using blockchain technology to run services on distributed systems in a trustless manner, and in such a way that allows for people to make direct investment into the quality and the quantity of the network.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think ultimately what we'll see probably over the next year is a lot of what you're talking about, and it'll I think more properly be eventually defined to something similar, if not a little more, if not a little less than what you were than your sentiment. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna have to lose something pretty soon here. So let's see. We have another question. Does Sam really sleep in the beanbag every day, or on the beanbag?
I think most days he is at least taking some nap in the beanbag. That is true.
Not too bad. All right, so we got that question. We got that out of the way. Let's see. So let's see. 2021 is obviously almost done. It's been a crazy year. Any highlights for you that you want to highlight for yourself or for FTX or FTX US from the
Sure.
team, anything like that? It's been a great year, crazy year.
Yeah, well, I guess for me personally, this is the year that I entered crypto completely. I joined FTX in May. Super excited for making that jump. That was, one of the best decisions I could have made in my life, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Yep.
In terms of FTX US in particular, we've had an amazing year. People don't realize that FTX US didn't really exist a year ago, and FTX.com didn't really exist 2.5 years ago. I mean, it's a pretty young company. We're one of the newest exchanges to sort of hit the market, but FTX is one of the largest, if not the largest, global derivatives exchange. FTX US was started a year ago to try to enter the regulated space for crypto. And back in January or so of this year, we were doing something like $1 million a day in spot volume. And now we're doing around $400 million a day in spot volume. So we've grown enormously. We're now close to 5% of the volume of the US.
Yep.
And so just growing the spot platform was great. One of the biggest highlights for us, though, was the strategic acquisitions, and we made 2 this year in the US. One was Blockfolio, which originally was one of the first tracking apps for crypto, and by doing so, we brought in this great development team and design team, and we were able to sort of take over that app as our retail-facing app. And so a lot of promise there in terms of being able to compete with the other more retail-focused platforms that have been around for a lot longer, like Coinbase.
Right.
Let me see here. What trap are you laying for me?
We're trying to, huh?
So that was acquisition number 1, and then
Yep.
The second thing was LedgerX. So we acquired LedgerX, which is a CFTC regulated and licensed derivatives exchange and clearinghouse. And this is incredibly exciting because most of the volume in crypto trades in derivatives globally. But the US, even though the US represents something like 50% of the world's volume in traditional derivatives like equity futures, equity options, it only represents around 5% of the world's volume in crypto. And that is because traditional crypto native companies have not previously been able to follow the license path
Right.
to be able to offer these derivatives to US customers. So this will be a first, and we are extremely excited about being able to. We have a lot of work to do in terms of partnering with the CFTC to get the products approved that we want to list. Basically, cash settled Bitcoin and Ethereum futures on margin. But once we do, we'll be able to bring those to U.S. retail and institutional customers, and that's going to be a huge potential profit source for us. So we're very excited about that.
That'll be perfect. I just realized I made a little bit of a mistake here. Might turn the game, I think, back in your favor, unfortunately, or fortunately. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. I have some other questions here. Let's see. Oh, it looks like. Oh, I guess basically on that point that you just made, someone's asking if you had a timeline really for that, I'm
Sure.
guessing with the CFTC and others.
Right. So today you can sign up for a LedgerX account and trade options and futures on LedgerX.
Right.
There's a few issues though. One is that the futures right now are physical settled, which is not a product people love. I mean, basically you have to put up a Bitcoin to buy a Bitcoin future, which is not a super popular product.
Yeah.
The second is the fact that the license designation for LedgerX requires that the products are fully collateralized. So if you want to, sell an Ether future, you need to put up a full, 1 Ether for your 1 Ether future. Maybe it's 0.01 Ether, whatever the multiplier is. And the big reason why people want to trade derivatives at all is for capital efficiency, usually. So we have to work with the CFTC to amend our license designation to remove fully collateralized from our license. But to do that, we need to propose and have approved basically a real-time margining and risk model.
Yeah.
And there's been no other company really that's doing what we're trying to do, which is a fully real-time risk and margining system. Like the CME, the way they work is it happens every day or so, and it doesn't work on weekends or holidays. And we're doing it every couple minutes. And it's also cross-collateralizing, so you can use Bitcoin to fund the position for an Ether future. So it's somewhat unprecedented, but when we do this, I think we'll completely upend the derivatives market. I think it's something maybe it can be 6 months, maybe 18 months, maybe something in between there. But we're going to be at the mercy of the process.
Right. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. We got we're really getting down to some end game stuff here. I was in a good position, but usually it's making one mistake and and we have it, and it could change the entire game. It's awesome. All right, so we got that question answered. Perfect. So let's see. Oh shoot. I guess. Yeah, there we go. I'm back in it, I think, a little bit. We're back in a little bit. So Brett, okay, so you obviously got the job for FTX US in May. What was your intro to crypto? When was that? What was that like? Where was it? I'm sure you remember the day or the time, as we all do. But yeah, maybe the story behind that.
I first really learned about crypto in late 2017, and it was at Jane Street. Jane Street was getting into the crypto trade, basically the crypto arbitrage trade. And, I helped build out some of their kind of early software and tools for interacting with crypto. And that was the first I'd really seen any of it.
Right.
And back then, the perspective from the point of view of writing to the exchange protocols for market data and order entry was something like, wow, this is a freaking mess. These exchanges are horrible. They have terrible technology. They go down all the time. You can barely know what you've traded. And there's no way this is going to last more than 6 months. And I was completely wrong, completely wrong. So that was really my first experience.
Gotcha.
And then I didn't do anything with it really until joining FTX, and because the world that I was in was all the kind of regulated, automated trading world. So ETFs, stocks, options.
Yep. Totally different. Oh wow, he said that was checkmate. Let's see. Um, so we have a question here, again from the audience. Will FTX, I think, maybe they meant FTX US, I'm not sure, but will FTX US have futures trading in the short term? Kind of unclear on the question there. I'm not sure if they mean short term within the next 6 months, short term futures. I'm not sure.
Right. Understood. So I think we could integrate the product from LedgerX today into FTX US. And the reason we don't is because we don't think it's the right product. It's not the right product because it's physically settled and because there's no margin.
Yeah.
So I think it would not be exciting if we're like, okay, big launch, we finally have futures in the US. And then it's like, well, what can I do with it? Well, you can buy a Bitcoin future. Well, how do I do that? I have to put up one Bitcoin to buy one Bitcoin future. It's like, well, why not just buy Bitcoin spot? And I think that's exactly right. So it's just not a super, exciting product right now.
Yeah.
And so I think we'd like to really wait to be able to put the correct product in place if we're going to actually make this right.
Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. This person wants to ask how you find, I don't know if this is necessarily for Brett, but they're asking how you find a tax advisor in the crypto space.
Google.
I know.
Twitter.
I think that is honestly everyone's question right now. I mean, great crypto lawyers, tax attorney, like all that kind of stuff. This is what people are really looking for, and like there's really few, and it's hard to find. But I think Google, and I actually think I know that person, and I think I've talked to him before and tried to help him out. But so let's see. So now going into 2022, we're a couple days away from Christmas, or I guess happy holidays to those that don't celebrate Christmas. But anything exciting that you want to maybe mention for coming up in 2022 for FTX or FTX US, or maybe anything you're maybe more excited for crypto in general in the new year?
Yeah, so I think we're definitely excited in the new year to keep working on derivatives. I think that's the biggest opportunity for us. We are going to be making a lot of changes to the product because primarily FTX has been very much a product for institutional players.
Yeah.
Let me just think about my move here.
Yeah.
And we therefore haven't focused a ton on things like the look and feel and the smoothness of the onboarding process. And that's something that we'll be spending a lot of time on in the coming year to make it just as retail friendly as possible.
Gotcha.
We'll also be doing more stuff in NFTs. As we announced that we're doing a couple of joint venture investing initiatives with Solana Labs and with Lightspeed, and having to do with blockchain gaming.
Yep.
And so I expect that you'll see a lot more from us in the coming year in that particular space too. So that's pretty exciting for us.
Yep. Now, are you a big gamer as well, or maybe previous gamer?
I would say I was a huge RPG fan for a long time, but I think I just missed in terms of like the time which I got busy and earned responsibilities in life, in terms of how that overlapped with people really getting into online gaming. Yeah. I certainly played my fair share of StarCraft, Warcraft 3, Age of Empires 2, and
Absolutely.
Some of these older games, but I think I missed the boat on some of the more recent stuff. But my 7-year-old is obsessed with video games, so I'm I'm reliving it a bit through him.
Oh yeah, no, I know there's been a ton of stuff really come out recently that really remind me of the old days. I mean, you got Halo that just came out. Um, that was incredibly fun as a kid. I don't know. I mean, I would argue I'm in the same boat. I think we're really just way too busy now to ultimately get back into it. Unfortunately, um,
Yeah.
and I feel like if we did it a couple times, we'd be like, man, I think I want to play this every day. So it's just difficult. Hmm. It's really just difficult as you get older. Um,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
really
I
what
don't
it
think
is.
I think you may have brought this back in your favor here.
I know, little maneuvering. It's crazy how in chess, in basically one move can turn the whole game. And arguably that's really how life is too. Like one decision can one person one decision can change really your life, as well.
I want to move my knight in there.
There we go. So let's see. Are you kind of back home for the holidays as well now? Back with the family,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're in Chicago.
Okay.
Where are you calling from here?
I'm actually in San Francisco. Um,
Gotcha. Nice.
and yeah, I'm going to be stuck probably inside for the next week as it's raining and incredibly cold here. So I can't go out too much. I don't know. I'm sure
What
it's.
what is it? What is incredibly cold for you in San
I know
Francisco?
that's funny, right? I mean, I'm from SoCal, so it's usually around 70 to 80 degrees, but here it's like 40 to 50.
Oh, for you.
I know, seriously.
I think it's like 15 or 20 here or something
Oh my
like that.
gosh. Has it snowed yet or no?
Not yet. It's
Not yet.
really
Okay.
dry for a winter, but it'll come.
Yeah, it really will. No, so yeah, we are getting down to some critical moves here. Um, let's see here. Let's see if we have some more questions. Hey, so what have you really thought about this? I mean, we've now been on stream here, I think, for almost 40 minutes or so. What have you kind of thought about this format?
Yeah, it's good. I think it's nice to have something that fills the space a little bit
Yeah,
and
I
kind of brings like the intensity down for, some of these like podcasts where it's just like an hour of, question after question.
exactly
And also it's good for people who are watching,
more engaged. Yeah, that's
probably more for the live stream aspect of it too.
yeah. That's where I really thought I almost thought it was something like Hot Ones or like comedians in cars getting coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just talking to, and I feel like the conversation is just incredibly organic. And so it's
Yeah, I'll
interesting.
say so. I definitely was not the person who had enough time to play games. Let's say in the last 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
But one thing that gave me my fix for quite some time, and now I don't have time for that anymore either, is Twitch.
Hmm.
And I definitely spent a bunch of time. When Twitch first really got kind of big, and I discovered this, I was just sort of like, this is definitely giving me my fix, and I figured out that I actually enjoy watching games as much as I like playing them. Especially when people would like speed run your old favorites and stuff.
Yeah.
But there'd be a lot of stuff like this where people would get together and they play a game together. But it'd be two people having a conversation, and maybe even like a politically charged conversation.
Yeah.
But it was cool, and so I like that part a lot.
So then, okay, so
Yeah.
you're a big Twitch guy. Do you have a couple favorite streamers? I mean, I do like Twitch. I haven't watched it in a little while, but no, I do know some of the ones. I don't know, maybe the same games that you were focused on, but yeah.
It's been a while, but I would say when I was into it, um, one sec.
Mm.
I liked this guy Trihex,
Mm.
and he does a lot of different games, but he was insanely good at Yoshi's Island,
Mm.
like for the Super Nintendo. And he had a whole system of like how he held the controller and the exact special movements you would need to do to be able to um nice. I am not doing well here.
I think yeah, some interesting moves towards the end of it.
Some tactics here.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't want to include your chat, because I feel like I would just be too embarrassed.
No, yeah. Luckily, we
for what
haven't
they're
had.
saying.
I think we've gone down in a couple viewers as we've gone on here. So I don't think.
Yeah, it's been that bad, huh?
Yeah, not as many
Um,
people chirping. Not as many people chirping us. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see here.
oh, I don't know. Gonna take a second, and
Yeah. Yeah, take your time.
I might just have to throw this one.
This is really the crucial, I think, part of the game here. Let's see. Now it's really. Now it's like really. Oh shoot! I think I'll eventually lose one as well. But I guess I could just do that and still have that in the position. Oh shoot! I guess that works too, huh? Let's see here. Guess I gotta go there. Don't have any choice. Let's see. Let's see if there's any other questions right here. Maybe a light question here. Is there anyone that maybe other than obviously your team in kind of the crypto space that you really like on crypto Twitter that you follow religiously? That might be some of the viewers might like as well.
Let's see. I really like Matt Graham.
Oh, let me see. I feel like
That was another stupid move, huh? So Matt runs Sino Global Capital.
Oh, yep.
He's been a investor in FTX from the beginning.
Yep.
And he's just like super chill, nice guy on Twitter.
Yep.
And in real life too, not just on Twitter. Yeah, he just like I like hearing his thoughts and seeing him interact with other people, and
Yep.
he's been a big kind of fan of FTX, and we've been fans of him for a while, so that's been cool.
Yeah, he's I follow him as well. I think he's a character. Like he is actually really great on
Yeah.
on CT. Any others? Any other maybe a second?
I feel like I need to pull up my Twitter for a second because I feel like this should be an obvious thing, but
Yeah. I feel like there's always some of those that we really interact with on a daily basis.
yeah, people who I interact with all the time, but I can't like pull them up to mind.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually did a really great kind of impromptu chess and chat with this guy. Actually, his name is Thinking Bitmex, and he only he's totally anon. He wanted to stay anon, but we did kind of the same format. We had a great conversation. He only trades Bitcoin. It's the only thing he does. But it was a great chat as well. It's actually interesting too because he lives pretty close to myself, so it's just weird how
that's cool.
you know what I mean. It's a small world, but yeah. met some interesting people um, through this little
I guess
experiment.
I do follow Matt Levine from Bloomberg.
Hmm.
I think he is both extremely intelligent and extremely funny.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, why did I?
It's also so obviously this format is good, but it's also like I think part of the reason that I've lost, and this is an excuse. I think ultimately it's also hard to
Yeah.
really be chatting as well as
Yeah.
there's yeah, it's definitely not easy. So
Here's the thing, I've been on the offensive the whole time, and yet all my pieces are gone.
I know. Let's see. Yeah, I think this. Okay, so I think we're really getting down to. I've been saying that I think for a little bit, but we really have. Let's see. We'll see. I think we're almost to some of these other pieces here. But maybe I know there's a couple of viewers left. Maybe any if you were seeing this really in the future with some of the other guests that I'm going to have on, I've kind of scheduled them. I have a couple others. Adam Singer over at Invest with Lex. He's a really great guy. Up next, or I think actually third. I have a second. I actually kind of forget who that is. But fourth, I think I have Austin Hankwitz, a creator in kind of the TradFi space, and yeah, I mean just a number of other creators and kind of key employees or founders of great companies, and yeah, maybe any tips. Should we change it up? Should we go quicker on the chess? Should we? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the format's great.
Yeah, we will.
I think, yeah, I like letting people get into, the less formal stuff.
Yeah.
For this kind of setting, which is like a less formal setting, which makes it more relaxing and fun.
Definitely. Yeah, and maybe, I mean, ultimately, maybe a co-host might be interesting as well, just to have someone that's not playing chess, but that has maybe more of the quick questions prepared.
That's true. I mean, it will give you some time to focus on the game
Exactly.
for a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and when either of us are really focused on making the next move, like filler, really just filler content, that would be interesting.
For sure.
Okay, so we have this here. I guess let's see. I guess your move, huh?
It's yours, I think.
Oh, it is, huh? It is. My bad.
Yeah.
I apologize. Oh, I guess here. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, I think you were looking at me like it's your move. Yeah, no, I apologize. Let's see.
Yeah, well, okay. I give up.
Okay. Well, that really is the game there. And I guess, well, we can really close with that. I am now,
Yep.
I guess really now I'm 1 for 11. We're slowly improving. Yeah, I mean, we are seriously slowly improving here. But any maybe, to close it up, I mean, we're almost coming up in an hour though, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Maybe last questions, or I'm sorry, not questions, but any last comments that you want to make before we really close it out.
Yeah, I think getting to sit at FTX has been super cool to see a little bit of everything. I mean, with the traditional crypto trading, there's all the stuff happening in Washington right now around crypto and getting to sort of have front row seat for that. There's entering the derivative space. There's like looking at NFTs, getting into the communities there, thinking about the gaming side of that, sports marketing, getting to talk to and meet some of the, these amazing people who are at the top of their game in these spaces. So it's been amazing, just getting to be at FTX and be a little bit in the center of everything.
Yep.
And one of the things that makes, I think, FTX special compared to maybe some of our closest adjacents in the space is that we really like to hear from people and we like to engage people in the community. And some of our best like ideas and feedback come from people just sort of getting on Twitter and DMing and being like, hey, I have some idea for how this could be better, or
Yep.
yeah, my experience is less than good, but like, let's talk. I actually want you to make this better, and engaging in that productive dialogue. And so I like doing stuff like this because I want people to realize, hey, we're like pretty friendly, normal people, and we just want to hear from you. We want to make the product better. We want to make the experience good for everyone, and are super open to whatever kinds of ideas people have.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Brett, I really appreciate you coming on. Happy holidays to you, your family,
Yes.
as well as all the viewers.
You too.
Again, Brett Harrison is the president of FTX US. You can go to ftx.us to check out more, of course, or ftx.com for international. For all those that are obviously listening or watching now or in the future with playback. But have a great night, Brett. Have a great night, everyone in the audience, and hopefully next Thursday around the same time we'll be doing this same thing. But this has been Chess and Chat episode 1, and again, thank you, Brett. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays. Thank you.
Good night.
Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so now I got to oops.